Many thanks to 2K and Midnight Suns for sponsoring this video. Welcome back to the Nerd Council YouTube channel. It's your boy Timmy, and in this video I'm going to explain to you how environmental attacks work in Midnight Suns. By simply selecting an object on the playing field that you want to target enemies with, you can gain a strong advantage in regards to clearing the battlefield as quickly as possible. To gain the most from environmental attacks, you want to ensure that your characters are placed in a position where they can reach not only the object itself, but also target enemies close by. Not all enemies are going to be within range of certain objects, so it's important to understand what the field of battle is looking at the moment and how you can have a strategic advantage over the enemy by considering which environmental attacks to implement.
Let's do it! Let's do it!
You can also use the environment to your advantage by implementing knockback attacks. Certain cards within your deck cause a knockback effect, which you can use to knock enemies back into objects or into each other. Enemies also count as an object within the game. By understanding which cards cause which kind of knockback effect and how far the range is of that knockback effect, you can change the landscape of the battlefield by moving enemies closer to each other, or even deal extra damage by knocking enemies back into things like crates or electrical outages, which could cause stun damage. There's a lot to consider when it comes to using environmental attacks. But it's also important to remember that your enemies can utilize the environment as well. So be careful where you place your characters and what environmental attacks you implement, because the enemies might turn them back on you later on.
Not looking good for you.
As I said earlier, environmental attacks utilize heroic points. So it's important to consider how many heroic points you currently have, how many heroic points you may have in the next turn, and how many heroic points it's going to cost you in order to use an environmental attack on the playing field. Not all environmental attacks are worth utilizing. Sometimes it might be worth stacking your heroic points to use a card that will deal more damage to your enemies. But it's always good to stack as many heroic points as you can. And if done correctly, you can stack multiple environmental attacks where you use them back to back in order to gain a strategic advantage on the enemy. So while you might have run out of card plays, if you have enough heroic points and there are enough enemies situated next to environmental objects, you can utilize those to deal more damage in your turn and then clear the enemies in the battlefield as quickly as possible. Certain characters like Ghost Rider can actually change the environment by implementing abilities called drops. These drop environmental points can be used to knock back enemies into dangerous places like a pool of lava to eliminate them quickly with a 1 KO hit.
Prepare yourself.
All in all, environmental attacks are a key factor when it comes to battles within Midnight Suns. Utilizing them to the best of your ability will give you the advantage that you need to clear stages of battle very quickly and not have to deal with constant waves of reinforcements coming to attack you and your team. Well, that is it for this video and all about environmental attacks in Midnight Suns. Keep it locked on our channel for more Midnight Suns content. Make sure you're subscribed, and thank you very much for tuning in. Till next time.
I saw a move like that once, centuries ago.